You have probably heard a lot about nervous system dysregulation. It is definitely trending, and you're probably seeing yourself in some of that. You read the thing, you saw the thing on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, and you're like, okay, the jaw tension is totally me, or the inability to relax when everything is confined, totally fine, or maybe you get in bed at the end of the night and then you're anxious as fuck, or you find yourself feeling like you're looking outside of yourself at your life rather than really feeling like you're embodied in it. And I bet you've already started to experiment. You've been practicing yoga for a while, you're noticing that it helps, but it's not getting all the way down and touching the deep impact areas that you need it to. Maybe you tried cold plunging, maybe you did a grounding technique, you're walking barefoot out in the yard, maybe you've done certain breathing exercises, or at least you've probably been saving some posts or videos to come back to. And the reality is that all those nervous system only focus tips may help or may harm. And if they do help, they'll just help for a little while. Because here is the truth: nervous system dysregulation is rooted in something different. It is not the problem, it is the symptom of other things going on underneath. So you can try all the different nervous system best tips out there, but it won't actually change the pattern that your nervous system operates in without other support and other things being addressed as well. And I want to just hopefully give you some relief in knowing that, because you don't have to find some perfect exact thing. You're not looking for some perfect invisible box to check in order to heal your nervous system. You have a whole system, like a whole ecosystem, a whole structure, a whole other aspects of you that need help and support. And these will naturally help your nervous system get to where you want it to be in a way that's a lot more easy for you. And so, nervous system dysregulation, in case you're not totally sure that you fall within this camp, let's talk about what it means and what it feels like. And so, clinically speaking, nervous system dysregulation means that your nervous system keeps wiring up responses that don't match the experience that you're having, and they go there habitually over and over again. So, for example, maybe every single time you sit down to balance your money and go over your budget, you feel stressed, or you feel your jaw tighten, or your head starts to pound a little bit, or you feel anxious. It can also show up in other ways. So, chronically carrying tension in your jaw, for example, chronically carrying a little bit of an ache in your heart center, or having your breathing be really shallow, or noticing that when someone gives you a compliment or wants to hold space for your emotion, that that's hard for you and you kind of feel a little antsy in that situation rather than being able to let that love and attention in. It can be so many different things. It could be gut things that are going on. It could be several different thought processes that you really have a hard time getting out of. We sometimes feel like mental health problems are just in the mind, or physical problems are just something going on in the body, but it's this way that all these places are working together and relating to each other in terms of how nervous system dysregulation can manifest. And so, what I want you to know is that your nervous system is chronically wiring to these places as a way to help you out, girl. These patterns developed because they needed to, because past experiences taught your nervous system that it needed to help you in this way, it needed to adapt, it needed to have these responses regularly enough that these became default patterns. If you've ever been on a hiking trail and you've seen the well-grooved path that's beaten down by so many people walking on it with your feet, and then you'll see those other side trails that maybe there's a little bit of a footpath but not a whole lot, things are cleared but not a whole lot. These grooves that your nervous system takes and your brain goes on, these neural pathways, are the well-grooved paths because they've needed to be. And the reason they've needed to is because you've probably experienced, and see if this is true for you or not, you've probably experienced things that were big enough, hard enough, too much, more than you could process and make sense of in the past. Trauma, you've experienced trauma, and that has told your nervous system that it needs to help you by responding in this way, and so it does. And it goes there easily and without you choosing it, and often, and in order to look out for you. And so if you're just play with me here a little bit, if you're just doing like surface level nervous system hacks, but you're not actually dealing with what's underneath, then you're gonna get surface level results. You might experience a shift that feels better, but then it goes away. So for example, you might have had a really delicious yoga experience, you feel the shift in your state, you walk out, you go get in the car, you see that text from your mom, and oh shit, you're like, you lost it, right? It doesn't stick. You don't actually see that nervous system shift that happens when you're doing the deeper work that allows your nervous system to respond differently to the circumstances of your life. And so I want you to know that like you were never broken. There was never anything wrong with you. This is absolutely something that you can shift over time. You can literally rewire your nervous system's default patterns over time, but that it's not a quick fix. This is not like some mystical, magical button that you're going to push and you're done. This is going to be a more devotional practice of you choosing to do this work and to stay with yourself and to tend to the parts of you that, the adaptive parts of you that formed these resources to help you through. And you reminding those parts that you are the soul, you're the woman who is resourced and has tools and skills. You can navigate through these things without needing to shift back into the old pattern again and again. And so if you know that trauma is underneath it, and you know that it takes time, and you know that surface level answers will give surface level results, and sometimes, if I'm being really honest, some of those like surface level things that you do to regulate your nervous system make it worse. Like they don't work, they just aggravate you. And then sometimes you might feel shame or like, what's wrong with me that didn't work for me? Nothing's wrong with you. This is very individualized work that we on the internet try to make seem very cut and dry or very black and white, but it's very gray, it's very nuanced, it's very individual for you. And so I want to just encourage you to shift the framework. Okay, my nervous system does these things because past experiences have taught it that it needs to, and I can do something about that, and that it will take devotion and it will take time, and that absolutely this is completely possible for me, but I need to get out of the quick fix mentality, and I need to look at like, what does it look like to really lean in and choose this again and again and again and again, and to choose this on the days when I'm feeling really out of sorts, and to choose this on the days when I'm feeling really great and motivated. Because this, like your nervous system will tell you, you don't have time, this is unimportant, it won't even make a difference, when actually this devotional practice of showing up again and again and tending to your innermost self and the parts of you that didn't get their needs met or that are holding on to something from the past to protect you, they need to know that you're going to be consistent. And so you doing one practice one time is nice, but you showing up 3 times a week, every single day of the week, those sorts of things, ooh girl, that's where the difference is made. So let's talk a little bit about what really shifts things and how conventional approaches may have left you hungry for more and feeling like something was missing. So I already mentioned regular choosing of doing this kind of work is going to make a difference, but also yoga therapy will make a monumental difference if it's done well and smartly, and it actually feels like an approach that works for you, because yoga therapy does a lot for your nervous system. It is literally a conversation with your nervous system every single time that you're practicing. And if you look into the science of how yoga impacts your nervous system, you'll find that it helps your nervous system explore all of its range So it can be activated and it can be down regulated. It can relax and open up, and it can also be engaged and stimulated. And so this combination of activation and down regulation and stimulation and deep relaxation really helps a nervous system that's shift in chronic dysregulation learn the opposite. Okay, I can do that, and then I can come down from that, and I can go over here and experience what that feels like. And so yoga uniquely works on that right there. We can work on breathing practices that are very soothing and standing poses that really make me feel strong, all in one frame of practice. But yoga also works on your whole self. So there's not a whole lot of places. Dr. Timothy McCall talks about yoga therapy being one-stop shopping. We get to work on your relationship with your body, which includes your nervous system, your subtle body, your energy system, and literally your fascia, your muscles, your bones, and how they communicate and work together, your endocrine system, your lymphatic system. All of this stuff is being worked on when you practice yoga. Blood flow moving through the tissues. So much goodness. But you're also working with your mind, and especially if you're working with true yoga therapy or true yoga that incorporates not just physical aspects and is masquerading as exercise when it's not even really, it's masquerading as yoga when it's really just exercise. So true yoga will incorporate inner work practices. What's going on with your mind? Can we observe the state of your mind? How is your mind really getting attached to a certain way of thinking? And maybe that way of thinking is serving you or not serving you. How are you getting tangled up in emotions? Can you observe the emotions? Can you look at your emotions for information? Can you feel emotions rather than just think about emotions? The inner work aspects of yoga, they ask us to look at how we're doing harm or how we've received harm. They ask us to look at surrender, Ishvara Pranidhana. Can I let myself be held and supported by something bigger than me rather than feeling like it's all on my shoulders, and if I don't do it, then no one will, or other people will get it wrong. The inner work practices of yoga are big and vast and plentiful, and they work on aspects of you in tandem with the embodiment practice that's so beautiful and special. And then there's also how yoga really helps to link you up with your own higher self. And this is where yoga in its truest form is unapologetically a spiritual practice. It is about bringing us into a yoke, a connection, yoga means yoke, with the divine, with your own highest self, your own soul, your own spirit, but also that infinite thing. Maybe you call it God, maybe you call it grace, maybe you call it universe or source. Yoga is yoking us up with that. And if you think about nervous system dysregulation, and if you think about trauma, it's the opposite of being in that yoke. It's adaptive patterning saying, I need to drive you, I need to steer, I need to take charge because I need to keep you safe. And then soul's like, okay, let me know when things are clear so I can get back in the driver's seat, right? Let me know, I'm ready, like I want to be in charge. And so yoga, like, boop, puts you back in the place where soul is steering, and you're not just falling back into old patterns, you're actually on a soul level moving yourself where you want to go. And then yoga also is so amazing because it works on your life. There are aspects of yoga like karma yoga and bhakti and tantra that are really working on how you relate to your lived experience. Is your life something meaningless as you move through this bizarre experience of being on a rock floating in a solar system in which there is an infinite universe? Holy shit, that's crazy to think about. Or is this life one of meaning and purpose and divine alignment? And is it in service to something greater than you? Or are you just stuck in your own limited way of thinking and not seeing that bigger picture, right? Are you having a conversation with the divine and you move through your life? Is your life of service to the greater good? Is it out here to do something that positively has a ripple effect in the world around you, right? Like, yoga is working on your life and how you relate to the lived experience of being human. And other approaches that work on trauma recovery, some of them are so good. Like personally, really a big fan of psychotherapy, especially a good psychotherapist who has a great integrity and sense of ethics and a wonderful set of tools and has done their own inner work. Such a big fan of it. And also, psychotherapy doesn't work on all these same layers. Like, oh my gosh, it's such a gift for helping you process your thought and emotion, for working on how the brain organizes the information, for getting the sections of the brain to integrate and communicate with each other, for being held and emotionally supported in an intimate space where you can trust and relax. So much good. It doesn't touch some of these other things. And then I will say, in the nervous system dysregulation space, there's a lot of, to put it frankly, there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of stuff that you can put your energy into that will completely distract you and confuse you. When if you don't work on some of these deeper aspects, you're just like riding it's like the supplement industry. There are genuinely good supplements out there that are important, and there are a lot of supplements out there that are just, as one of my friends, acquaintances rather, a naturopathic doctor says, just buying you expensive urine. Like, you're just paying for supplements you don't need and then peeing it out. And so the nervous system dysregulation world can be kind of like that, where you're just getting crap you don't need. And so yoga therapy has the possibility to work on all these different layers at the same time. If this is speaking to you, if you feel seen by this and you want to try a practice that incorporates the deep medicine of yoga and also works on all these things when you just get to experience it, I made a free practice for you. It's called Come Home to Your Body, and you can find it down in the description of this video. But if you're already like, that's not going to cut it, I want to go even further, I made a program called Daily Devotion. It's amazing because it is a 21-day structured program. I have taken all the thought out of it in terms of like organizing and figuring out how to do this work. It's a 21-day program where you spend 10 minutes a day with me doing a video, a journaling practice, a meditation, a yoga, a relaxation. It's all yoga medicine. But I just get to guide you through it for 21 days straight. And it's totally accessible at a price of $47 for that full program, and you get 2 months to do it. You can find Daily Devotion down in the description as well. And lastly, let me know, right, in the comments. I feel like when I make videos like this for you, I want to hear what stood out for you. I want to know what meant something to you or what questions you have. So please take advantage of that. I'd love to hear from you. See you in another video.